Hello everyone. We are going to stay on schedule, so we would like to start the session with Steinbeck, Ricketts, Starfish, Chrissy, Piotrowski.
Hi everyone. Talking today about the Gulf Sun Star, which is Heliaster cubanigi, and this particular specimen here was collected in 1940 by John Steinbeck and his close friend Ed Ricketts. And Ricketts was a marine biologist and an early pioneer of rocky intertidal zonation and ecology. And he was also immortalized in Cannery Row as the character Doc by Steinbeck. And he was pretty much like the character of Doc from what they say. They were pretty close friends, and they decided that they needed to get away from the tumultuous times in 1940, World War II era, and needed a break from reality. So they set out on an expedition in 1940 and spent 6 weeks in the Gulf of California, also known as the Sea of Cortez, sampling the rocky intertidal fauna and talking about philosophy and friendship and this ended up with a large collection of specimens. About 500 specimens were collected during this trip, and maybe 50 new species were described from the resulting material. And it also culminated in a book called Sea of Cortez, a leisurely journal of travel and research. And this book didn't go over all that well in terms of people purchasing it because they were all preoccupied with the war. Later on, after Ricketts' untimely death, Steinbeck actually republished it as a shorter novel called Sea of Cortez. Log from the Sea of Cortez. And that is one of Steinbeck's most popular books. So the Academy has quite a lot of these 500 specimens. In our collections, we received the Pacific Marine Station collection of Stanford University in 1972, followed on by the rest of the Stanford material. And this species in the Gulf is actually was extremely common in 1940 in the Ricketts-Steinbeck days. They were citing it as the most common, obvious, and widely distributed shore starfish in the Gulf Rocky systems. And in the 1960s and early 1970s, it was similarly as common, and some reports and surveys were of 1 starfish per square meter, so they were very, very widely found. But in 1978, an El Nino event caused a dramatic increase in sea surface temperatures, and which was likely responsible for starfish die-off. And there was a disease that swept through the starfish communities, resulting in about 100% mortality for all affected starfish. And so the local population was all but extirpated for about 20 years. And it's starting to make a comeback now. As of 2014, they're slowly coming back, but not nearly in the same numbers that they were before. This specimen, the species, was thought to be a keystone species, so really kind of held the ecosystem together as a top predator. And the empty niche was filled by a small predaceous rock snail. And so that change really transformed the taxonomic structure of the rocky reef system in the Gulf. Also other populations had been reported in the Steinbeck-Ricketts logs, but are not in the Gulf really in mass anymore, such as large predatory fish like tuna. They reported lots and lots of tuna. Now you see more Humboldt squid than large predatory fish, and those were not reported at all by Steinbeck and Ricketts. So the Gulf has changed quite a lot. And I think this specimen is important because it sort of sits at the intersection of marine ecology, issues of marine ecology, our literary heritage, and it also demonstrates the value of collections in understanding changes in marine ecosystems, and it serves as a nice ambassador for non-scientists to better understand the importance of collections and the value of maintaining them. Wow, finished already?